Hey everyone. Queen of Cups. Capricorn. So I've been shuffling for a while. I'm glad you showed up. I felt like you needed to be here. I felt like there was a need to communicate. An additional message when I began also is you're the third reading that I've done inside for November, and I tried to light a fire because it's a little chilly, and I just gathered some wood from the yard. But it rained the other day, and it rained all day, and it's actually very rare for that to happen here in this space, in this place. But it happened, and Four of Wands. It happened, and then I wasn't, Five of Pentacles. I wasn't able to make the fire because there was too much water in the wood, right? There had to be heat and air. There had to be heat, okay? Queen of Wands. There had to be air and fire to be able to, I guess you have to have air and fire before you can even make fire. World, I'd say yes. What you're learning about the Magician, I like that. What you will be learning about Queen of Swords. Now you have three queens on the board. You know, I tried a couple times to light that fire too. But I heard I tried every trick in the book. But it didn't, something about it was out of your hands, right? I can't dry out that wood any faster. And Taurus just received this message too, but just, that's natural law, right? It's just the natural way that things work. Sometimes humans can expedite something, but generally, no. It's out of our hands, right? Just a minute. It's okay, baby. Now, I find it fascinating. You have three queens on the board. The only element that's missing, Earth, is you. Of course, these are archetypes of yourself, but that's not the point. You actually didn't show up. Technically, you showed up as the Queen of Cups. The only Earth here is the 5 in your conscious position. This is very interesting. Ah, I see. Okay. You're not supposed to have this Celtic cross. That's why. Sorry, 1 second. These two just came out. Queen of Cups having a conversation directly with the Queen of Swords. Very good. Yes. I feel the need to do this. All that you've been through, was there, you spent a lot that you've been through and participated in that had to do so much with your solar plex, okay? Out of the kitchen, please. Good girl. And then I heard too many cooks in the kitchen. You know, and there's something about stating a directive that's important, right? Stating something. This is the only one that's actually saying something. She's saying something internal. She's saying something. She's not saying anything at all. Well, externally, right? This has action. I was talking about fire and air, right? This is what you need to succeed. This is what you need to, I heard, oomph your life to the place that you really want it to be. Energetically, intellectually stimulating. Okay? Creatively stimulating. I see having other females around you, particularly if you are female. Hanging with other women is important. And it's not just a feminine energy. It's particularly a women, you know, females. It's important, you know, and I heard sewing circle. Now, for those of you who are men, that's something to understand. The reason why bars are set up the way that they are with the row is because it mimics war. And originally bars didn't even have seats in them. You stood up in them because you were a soldier and you were ready to go all the time, right? It's also less eye contact, you're shoulder to shoulder. And when women sit, they generally sit in circles. They want to be able to see everything that's going on. They want to be able to make sure that they're giving equal attention to whoever is expressing themselves. Even if they're not expressing themselves externally, you can see it, right? Body language or what have you. That's how women learn. We learn differently than men. Maybe there's something about that too, like understanding that on whatever side you're on. Like innate differences in people, and even within your same-sex, like friendships or, you know, connections of other human beings. Like looking at them and be like, wow, how does my friend learn that? How do they deal with that? I heard, what are their magical powers? Like, how do they handle difficulties? How do people... Because you learn technically through other folks. Like you'll watch, from what I read and can gather, a Capricorn's like inner workings has something to do with observation. Then you learn how to do it, right? Through seeing the action. Then you understand it better mentally to be able to put it out into the physical world. And that's how you climb to the top of the mountain the fastest, because you're willing to look at it, right? You're willing to look at how things function and how to get to the top. And I heard we can get to the top many ways, but there's no need to rush, right? Which I consider you a pretty patient sign, except with yourself. Mostly. We can all become impatient with other human beings. It's human nature. I see it's important for you to say what you think and how you feel. I see that talking with people who also understand certain scenarios in more intuitive ways. Like maybe you have a friend where you say your dream out loud and they're really good at interpreting it. Or also becoming more in touch with your own intuitive abilities and seeing them more as a strength than a weakness, right? Because we're in Scorpio season 2, like you think about that. So it from what I can gather, the whatever birth zodiac revival is, if you will, it's effective to the collective, right? It's where the sun is at that time. So they have a lot of powers, but some of them are scary because they're so strong, right? We don't know what to do with them because, well, most of us have been manipulated in some way or another since we were children, whether that was on purpose or on accident. And most of adult life is about unlearning things, checking in and seeing what you want to keep and what it is that you don't want to keep, figuring out how to be okay with that empty space and then filling it accordingly, maturely, for your highest good, right? Because you know that that's what you deserve, because you know deeply that you have a choice. Nothing is perfect in life. No way, Jose. Also, the North Node is changing from Leo into Cancer, which is also a Cancer card. This is very much about your small tribes, you know. These queens, they don't hang out with, maybe the Queen of Wands hangs out with a bunch of people. The Queen of Swords knows a bunch of people. The Queen of Cups loves a bunch of people, but they don't necessarily hang out with a lot of folks all the time, except for, again, maybe the Queen of Wands. She's the most proactive in that sense. So those are all things that you need to attend to in some way or another, look at. But with this North Node shift, the South Node is actually going to be in your sign, Capricorn. Astrolata has a whole dissertation on that. Feel free to search it. It'd be pretty easy. You'd write North Node, Cancer, South Node, Capricorn, Astrolata. Should bring you there. But that'll help you to understand. A lot of astrology also with those bigger kind of transits is paying attention to your rising sign, your ascendant as well, is because that's a lot of, I mean, it's all a karmic lesson, but it's a good, strong lesson in there. It's moving into a cardinal sign too from a fixed sign. So there's a lot of, I love that there's 2 infinity symbols, 2 8s, right? I heard the message again. Everything that you've had to go through and or are going through is going through to show you the strength of your own self, your own that you don't need, because it's interesting too, there's no Queen of Pentacles because she's the queen in the physical world. It's like, for some of you, and this is really cool, is that you're realizing that you don't need there's something about understanding that the external thing doesn't fulfill the internal thing. And that's really good because Capricorn can also represent, at least astrologically at this time in space, like corporations and in this kind of other ego, right? It is the devil card, etc. So the more people that are within that energy strongly in your chart, like the more that we're within our higher self minus the ego, and understanding that knowing in ourselves like what is right and what is wrong, like how using your powers is, it's important to know how you use them, right? And then again, I heard all the natural talents that God gave you, right? There's nothing, especially intuitively speaking, what you have, and accepting that that's a big responsibility to have, because I sense that maybe only deep in your feelings, like you understand that that these powers come through your family, right? They come through this almost infinite energetic line. And of course, with great power, I heard, comes great responsibility. So, and that's just about maturity, you know, and that's good. And I heard it really matters the way you think about it. Like your opinion on that. How you think about that. You should ask yourself once every 5 days. I told this to Taurus before, but you just look down and you're like, how are you, heart? How are you? You know, just ask it. And then listen. It's kind of like when you talk to God, you know, it's not always going to give you, talk to spirit or what have you. It's not always going to give you, this dog next door just came up on the porch and everything. He's brave. Zumi's new buddy. Yeah, just giving it attention, right? Like I'm just rubbing this, like making it warm. Cute. There is something completing for most of you, something with in connection to the home. For some of you, for most of you, it's closing out pain, but for some of you, the pain could seem more painful than I heard accepting, but it all depends on you checking in with your heart and how you really feel about it, because I sense deep down, whatever it is changing, whether it's painful or not, again, healing it or bringing it to the surface, which is in essence, I guess, healing it, is happening so that, because in essence, I heard you needed this. Let me see if there's anything else. What you think about matters, okay? It's important to, I guess this goes back to whatever you're going through in relation to the home or Cancer, to, which again is your opposite, right? Well, I heard you asked for it, so you got it. So I heard be okay with that. Be good with it, right? Because wherever you are, there you are, right? Yeah. One more for fun. Love you. Take care. Peace.